Oh, we should be live, and while I'm waiting for everyone to scroll in here, I'm going to encourage all the peoples out there to go to hankstrange.com. Yes, while I'm waiting for someone to confirm that we're here, I'm going to show you guys real quick who are watching how to go to hankstrange.com. It's real easy. Here's my phone. You go in there. You don't even have to type in the hankstrange.com. Just type in Hank Strange, Google it. Then when it comes up in the Google machine, then you click on the .com right there. That will take, this is the mobile version. You can go here to the mobile version of the app. There's a menu. You can go to our email list if you need to right there. There's the email list. You can sign up on the email list. If you want to see Lola's deals is up there. You can go to daily deals, all that kind of stuff. That's how you do it. That's how you support us. Lola's always throwing things, deals, and etc. up there. So that's how you do all that. I believe that we're feeding through. Let me drop the open here on everyone right now. And
welcome back to the Hank Strange situation.
That's right. Make sure you guys subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. So Jeremy, you're a first-time guest here. We do jazz hands, my friend. No matter how macho you are, jazz hands. Oh, look, he already knows. Jeremy knows about jazz hands.
That's right.
We're gonna have
I was briefed.
Yeah, we're going to have to investigate him. All right. Patrick, I didn't see you doing jazz hands.
I did
No, don't even try to get away with it. We are live. I hope you guys have your real tough, I'm going to say, special formula of polymer panties on tonight. Because it's on. We are live with a special guest, Jeremy of XTech Tactical. Can I tell the people your whole name, or are you like undercover?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Jeremy,
I'm out there.
Jeremy Deadman. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep, dead man. Yep.
Yeah. See, when he first texted me, I was like, "This is not a real person." Somebody's trying to like send subliminal messages, threaten me or whatever. But yes, we have Jeremy. That is indeed his name, of XTech Tactical. He's here. He's in the house. We also have Babyface P here with us, and of Babyface P Incorporated Associates Worldwide International. Yeah. We should also have Walter Keller from SHF, Safety Harbor Firearms, joining us here at some point. I think Walter's probably just getting ready right now, so we will, we'll give him a couple of minutes before he comes on here. Shout out to everyone up there. Make sure you guys smash those thumbs, ring the bell, share the fact that this episode is on. We still don't have our Facebook back. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that later. Also, I want to shout out Harry's Holsters, the sponsor of the show tonight. Maker of fine Kydex holsters. Thanks to Harrison over there for supporting the podcast, helping us be able to get on here, say whatever we have to say. And I think that is it. I will dispense of the shout outs and go straight to Jeremy. What's up, man? How's everything going?
Life's good, man. Life's good. We're continuing on and kind of plotting our next round of fun AK mags, which is kind of something we've become known for. Is not only making great mags, but kind of putting smiles around the AK community spaces with the rotting banana clip and the banana clips and the fake lights. Next up, we have call it Somalian patina, I think is the name we settled on. So it looked like it's been buried on coastal Africa for about 50 years. So now always doing something fun. So.
Okay, Somalian patina. I haven't seen that one yet. That's going to be interesting. Is it going to have a pirate flag? Because skull and crossbones, man, that's all you need to get me in. If I see skull and crossbones, I'm like, I'm in.
I actually spent about 2 hours this morning with a hydro dipper trying to figure out those more complicated, more colors. Our goal is still to keep everything below $50. So,
okay.
We want it to be something that, perception is, and the reality is, to get one off yourself would cost more than you get a free mag, right? If you went to a Cerakote shop or a hydro guy. But anyway, that's a small niche of our company as a whole. Right. As you know, we make a lot of mag extenders and HK mags and AR grips and lasers. But I would say the AK culture is definitely it's a blast, and it's kind of addictive to be part of it. There's a lot of good people.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning here while we're waiting for Walter to come in. Why don't you explain to the folks, like, where's the company? What do you guys do exactly? I know you went over that briefly just now. How did you get into this business?
Yeah, absolutely. So my personal story and my business partner story is a little different, I think, than most of the industry. I try and lead a company as the most transparent that there is, period. So my story actually circles back to having a couple patents filed and pending before I actually owned a firearm. And that was back in 2012, 2013 timeframe. So I was in commercial real estate and development. It was kind of my second career, kind of right out of college. And I ended up working in the injection molding space. And Ergo Grip was actually my first customer.
Oh.
It was a fun story how it all went down. But the owner of Ergo, Steve Hines, he's kind of fun in a fun way known as, and it's true, the nicest guy in the gun industry. So, Steve was kind of a mentor to me, and eventually it ended up with a sit down of him calling me something like the smartest idiot he ever met, and basically encouraging me to stop handing him free ideas and start patenting stuff, and he'd be glad to write me checks, and even gave me the name of his lawyer to talk to make sure I followed the rules right. And
he is the nicest guy in the gun industry.
Steve, great guy. I mean,
because a lot of guys will just totally say, "Hey, listen, just keep giving me your ideas, man."
Yeah, free ideas.
Yeah, I mean, well, and there's as I've learned, there's a lot of guys in the middle. And Hank, I know you get around the industry a lot, so, and Patrick, I'm sure you know enough folks, but there's the side of the industry that goes, nice to meet you. How can I help? Even if it's helping one of their competitors, it's like being friendly and working with them. And I definitely am very proud to be of that mindset. I think a lot of smaller companies can get further together than they can apart, right? And with all the challenges related to marketing and reaching folks, even if you have a great product in this space, you really have to team up. Hey, Walter, welcome. So there's that mindset, and Steve's definitely that. I mean, he introduced me on the manufacturing side to many companies that I'm still friendly with today and still do work with today. And so my second hat, in addition to XTech now, relative to the firearms market, is I make many of the, as I call it, the upstairs at shots, plastic parts, and help to design and develop. And XTech has been behind the scenes in a lot of programs that to date we haven't been able to discuss. We are starting to negotiate in the next wave of products that we're developing for other folks that we can start talking about now that we've proved ourselves. And so with all that said, I like to kind of be a champion for the small guy. Unfortunately, my name has now, the reason my name's so kind of gotten more out there, if you meet me, I like to be behind the scenes guy, but it's the legal stuff we've been involved in. And, folks have questions that I'm glad to answer. But bottom line there is, to me, I really believe in small business. I believe in innovation. I believe in, the American dream. And something's got to be done to our legal system to keep that dream alive for the next generation and other folks. And
no, really?
You are talking Walter's language.
Boy Scouts of America?
Oh boy, I know, Walt. I know.
So anyway, in the industry with Steve, that's kind of how I got my start. And I invented something that's soon to come to market. It's been a long road. It's actually been through two non-publicly made legal battles before we are finally bringing it to market. So I've seen the very good upside of the industry. I've made a ton of friends in the space. And I've also seen the kind of the dark corners of the industry as well. And, but to me, the harder the hike, right, if you will, I like to do some extreme hikes to kind of remind myself of life's challenges and the rewards come behind it. And, put myself in those tough challenges. The harder the hike, the sweeter the reward when you get there, right? So, I think we're building something that isn't a fly-by-night. We don't overmarket our products and overpromise on them. And we're building something that really has a strong foundation that's going to be impermeable when we get through the next couple of years here.
All right, very cool. So listen, we are going to get into probably a couple various different things here. I do want to give you guys a nice background on XTech. I'm sure that Jeremy, unless something that we do or say is gonna set him off, he'll be back here. He's a good guy. He did send us out some XTech AK magazines that we're gonna talk about here, and he told me these guys, Walter and Patrick, don't believe me that he told me to torture test these things and break them. So, and I'm not the only one, by the way. I'm not
so he did.
Far from it.
Yeah. So
that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. So we did that because we wanted to see, you know, okay, when these things break, do they still keep functioning? All that stuff. So we're going to talk about that. One of the things that I wanted to get into, if we're still doing that, Jeremy, is developing a prototype, right? Because I'm going to come out to you guys.
Yeah, so you know, Hank came by at SHOT. Him and I had been talking a little bit. We have a mutual friend who's actually in the chat, John Crump. Hey, John.
Yeah, shout out to
does
John.
A lot
yeah.
To, you know, through Amalan and GOA, and you know, we do as much as we can for GOA as a small company, and had some great success there, by the way. And I think they piloted a program that John and I kind of envisioned, and now it's rolling out where there's a lot of joint ventures with companies and GOA. So really excited about that. Just show folks there's an alternative to, you know, the big guy, NRA, right?
Yeah.
And Firearms Policy Coalition, by the way, big fans of them as well. But with that said, you know, our company, we do all our development soup to nuts in-house, right? You know, with very little exception. So we're actually the dudes that do stuff. And I'm the dumbest guy in the room, and I'm proud to be. And that's a good sign you have an awesome team. That's how you overachieve in life, right? If you're the worst player on a team, you're in good shape, right? So my business partners, you know, I have dozens of patents in different industries, from aerospace to firearms to automotive. So
there might be some mini bikes in there, Walter.
I keep hearing mini bikes. I don't know what that's
it's an inside joke. Walter's supposed to be building guns, but lately he's been obsessed with mini bikes. You know, I don't know how that happened. I'm not taking any kind of responsibility for that.
What guy at some point
True.
hasn't lusted over a mini bike? A real guy, anyways.
Yeah.
Especially a really little mini bike that's way overpowered. Like if you're gonna rock your head, that kind of mini bike, yeah.
Now you're talking.
Turn it sideways. Yeah. The drifter.
Flip you right off every time you get on it.
Yeah. So Hank came by at SHOT, and he kind of pitched me on the idea of how it's made, or somehow it came up with a how it's made video. And I'm like, absolutely, we're open door. You know, the only thing we can't share is some, you know, super secret sauce exact formulations of materials. But yeah, we'll show how the mags are made. We'll show, and I have some other friends here in Phoenix. We mentioned some other companies he could visit. And, but I said, you know what, I think would be really, really cool that I've never seen anyone done in any industry is let you, the viewers, the people in the chat, can kind of get a tip off on this. You know, create your own product, or we'll create a product that is your idea. So we're not going to design a complete weapon system for free. But we, an accessory, you know, something that's not a stock that has 10 parts, but, you know, a grip or an extender or a bipod or something down those
So
lines.
You're saying we cannot build the Glock carbine?
Not officially, no. It's a couple $100,000 in effort, but you know, but we really want to open book and show the world kind of what we do. I mean, we've done some things like design products in Facebook groups, our own products. That's where our shield extender came from. The sad story of that, it ended up with me getting banned because it got too popular, according to the owner of the group. But you know, we like to be that company that will interface with consumers and hear them and listen to them. So, and then we'll kind of film a lower budget. We're not your editing skills, but, you know, some footage of how I do market research, how I establish a price point, how I establish demand or not demand. And then my engineers will take over and, you know, walk people through the CAD and how they tolerance things and material selection. And then when you come out, you know, the goal is to roll out a prototype, and then we'll go out and shoot it and break it. And, you know, you'll see the second hand of that you kind of hinted at the beginning of our obsession of breaking things. That's probably something
we can drive it over. We could drive it over with a tank. So
we got a tank in Mesa here, so yeah, we can. You know, Hank's got some tank footage. I was like I told these guys, I was crushed. I was like, you know, I expected to beat the tank. It only weighed 28 tons, and I lost. I lost miserably.
I'm gonna roll that.
I did too, but
I'm gonna roll that footage in so everyone can see it. We do have a tank crushing the magazine. So here's the thing about the prototype of what we're gonna build. We're gonna kind of like crowd design, I guess, Jeremy, and do this thing here. And somewhere here in this conversation, we'll have, or actually, you guys can start doing that now. Give us an idea of some kind of prototype, and we'll talk about it here, and then we'll whittle things down and bounce everything off of Jeremy. You're not looking to make something super complicated, obviously.
No, we want to show the process, right? I mean, my hunch is, as I told you on the phone, I think 10% of your viewership, you know, at some point had an idea, right? And people, they Google, and no one gives you the truth. They give you ways to give them money for a maybe, and this would be applicable to any market. I mean, I'm in dozens of organizations outside of XTech, and between making people's products and being an advisor or stockholder. So this is I have an idea, and we're going to show you my recipe anyway. I'm not saying it's right, but a recipe that at least has, by all definitions, marginal success in how to make a product and decide if there's a market for it.
Yeah, this to me is really going to be a lot of fun because we're making something. It's polymer, right? What we're going to make is going to be polymer.
It could be polymer, it could be metal, it could be whatever.
Okay.
We do it all.
There's only one thing that we need.
What is that?
And that is a damn American-made AK-74 magazine that is actually
Oh man, I forgot this.
So as you guys can imagine, I mean, it's humbling, and I don't think I'm wrong in stating this. So if someone does speak up, because we're all ears, but I expected it to take 3 years before we really got taken seriously by the AK market. And I think now, I mean, almost unanimously from a U.S. manufacturing standpoint, I'm proud to say we're considered the best ever. I mean, we know we are, right, from a product standpoint, and but it's just really been a humbling market to be a part of and a lot of fun. So 74 requests, 556 requests, and actually this is where the last remnant of the 556 ended up. We were just doing a little fitment thing. But this is a prototype. Fuller has one. A couple other folks have others they've broken. But we did design in its entirety, this is an early one, a 556 AK mag, and the 106 got canceled. 545, Patrick, to your point, I spent 2 long dinners at SHOT lobbying for that platform with some manufacturers that aren't actively suing me. And I think 545, has a chance to really become something special in the U.S. market, like it never has before.
I love my 555. I have a crank, and that is my favorite gun to shoot. I'm tired of paying so the mags. I got some Russian, some Tula mags, and I got them at quote unquote a good deal back a couple years ago for like $30 a piece. Now they're like $60 a piece, and I'm like, Jesus, just give me a good American one with metal locking lugs and metal reinforcement. Yeah,
and I'll speak honestly about the big fish in the sea, right, if you will, and that being Magpul, right? I mean, I've never been shy about it, and I think it could be one of two ways. They can ignore me, or they can go out and upgrade their products, and then you, the consumers, win, right? And it puts additional pressure on me, and that's what capitalism's all about. That's what I stand for. That's what I believe in. But Magpul, before I started XTech, they were an example, right? Kind of someone to aspire to be, and an example of success, and they kind of just didn't give a full effort in the AK space, and they kind of moved on from it. So, I would love to make a 545 mag tomorrow. It's about $250,000 to do. The market isn't there right now. There's just not enough guns trading hands in that caliber. But with, Palmetto, potentially Kalashnikov USA, potentially O'Reilly, those companies all have their own, people in the AK space have very strong opinions about each. But I think each is working towards improving their market positioning. Palmetto is absolutely killing it right now from, delivering allegedly good quality stuff. I don't have their latest generation, so I won't speak personally. But B, just their marketing and their engagement, and their answering the call of people, kind of the approach that we took on it. I hope it can be mainstream. I really do. With all these AR converts coming over, I think 545 could be 100,000, 200,000 firearms a year. And to give you an idea, last year, 10,000. If someone told you 10,000 545 sold for the first time last year,
really?
Like newly manufactured, it's nonsense. Not even anywhere close to 10,000 were sold last year. So trying to build a magazine and sell it for, competitive with our 7.62 mags and have any chance of getting my money back, it's not happening.
How many magazines do you need to sell, I guess, a year from a newly developed magazine to make back the money on the molds and all those kinds of things that go into the process? And we at some point here we'll probably get into a little bit about talking about the process of that. But money wise, what are you really looking at?
So I mean, it's about $250,000, right, to do a magazine the way we do it, right? And so
these magazines that we shot up and drove over,
$250,000 to get to one. That's to get one magazine in hand. And then your cost to make it for us is, from what I happen to know as factual, is about 3 times higher than that of, the market leaders, right? Because of what we use. So, for us, if I can't sell, and if I can't see a clear ability to have a path to sell 20,000 units a year, I can't pencil it. And
Quick
so
question about what you just
that's
said.
yeah.
What causes you guys to? Is it process? Is it like how you do it that causes the price to be higher than competitor?
It's our materials, and it's really our materials. I mean, if you and we're gonna do.
I will say that
We're gonna do. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do some tests. So like Bulgaria, right? I mean, I just mentioned Magpul Circle 10 mags. I've got no beefs. I mean, sure, you got to touch a file a lot. If you have multiple AKs, you're gonna touch a file with Circle 10 mag. But other than that, I mean, they're the gold standard for a reason. They're a great magazine. Arsenal is just choosing to position them as a collector's item, not a realistic tool for an average Joe, right? I mean, you're going to spend $500 to get 10 mags in today's market, and it's insane. So the way Bulgaria goes about making that mag is with labor, right? The way we go about making something that I would argue is equivalent, I think a lot of the market would call equivalent, is through materials, right? And advances in polymer science. So, you know, I don't think there's, you know, yes, you can make a cheaper mag, right? We have our OEM 47, the non-reinforced, another proprietary grade of polymer that's never been used in the gun market before. And it's going to shoot in the near future will show that it's superior in a lot of ways to the $27 offering from Magpul. So yes, I can make cheaper mags, but to me, you know, if I'm not solving a problem, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I want a mag that lasts more than a cheap mag. There's a reason why I haven't gotten the quote unquote like cheaper Bulgarian mags, the Circle 10s that were like $7 a piece.
Yeah. So I mean, we can, and obviously with scale, pricing can come down some. You know, we're always looking at the next wave of technology. You know, there are some things we can't yet disclose that we're up to that would change the way a magazine's made forever. But you know, we're always pushing ahead, always trying to be forward thinking. But you know, us as the founders, we still never paid ourselves, right? You know, we've got you know, a substantial amount of dollars into tooling, and you know, we still do other things to pay our bills. So, you know, we're trying to build a giant, but we're trying to build it the right way. So yeah, I mean, can I get my cost down? Potentially, if this one thing works, that's never even been attempted. Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty exciting. I mean, we could do things that would just destroy the competition in the industry in the right way, right? Bring out new tech. But we can figure out how to make it where it's much more expensive, but it's how do you bring that tech into the right range? So long story short, we're always looking to get better. But to make money, we've got to sell our high-end mags in the $25 to $30 range. That's just the only way we can pencil it.
Yeah, Harry's Holster, let me just get this in, Walt, and then I'll get to you here real quick. Harry's Holster says, competing to be the cheapest product is always a race to the bottom. Go ahead, Walt.
There's one other wild card in the whole 545 thing. AMMO.
Yeah, that's the big thing right now.
Well, there's that.
Ammo's being solved.
You have to have a plinker supply of ammo.
Yeah.
Because
and ammo is...
If you don't have a plinker supply, you're not going to sell magazines.
So what's really cool, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I don't think I am. You know, I consider Jamin and now Chad at Palmetto are becoming personal friends, and we talk, you know, fairly often. And Jamin likes to own things. Like, he's an old school. He wants to own, cripple markets through a capitalist approach.
No.
Yeah,
PSA?
exactly.
No.
And it is. I love it. I mean, to me, there's a lot of problems in this market that just need that destruction. And I mean, what the consumers haven't seen is three of our top, Walter probably knows this, 3 of the top 7 distributors in the farms market no longer exist today as of 2 years ago.
It's reorganization for sure.
And I think Palmetto is a huge driving force in that. And that's needed, right? I mean, right now, if you guys go invent something that is the best product in the category, it's likely going to be 5 to 7 years, unless you have $10 million in marketing, before it will hit your average gun shop. Because these guys aren't forward thinking as distributors. And so, but with that said, ammo, Walter, Jamin's given me the commitment that he will personally solve that problem if needed. But I've talked to the importers. 545 ammo can be solved. It's just there's a lack of global demand for it. Everyone's set up to make it still overseas. Once we create that demand, it's there. It just takes a couple big importers to bring it in. And Jamin said he'll do it himself if needed.
Bulgaria and Russia are the only ones currently using it as a military firearm, military cartridge.
Correct.
So everybody else is like, well, the 7.62 is still good. Let's just keep it.
Yeah. In the Middle East, it's in the sandbox. It's not the caliber of choice. So
no,
exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's like a 308 5.56 kind of thing. I mean, you know, and I think that the folks who like it because it's so close to 5.56, but coming out of an AK, right?
It's soft. It's awesome. Everything. I just love 5.45. Everybody out there knows I'm a 5.45.
Well,
Yeah.
ounces are pain, right? So I mean, that's another factor as well. So
I think we're headed in that direction of 5.45 guns coming back. And then when you do have people changing the way the market landscape looks, like what PSA is doing, and they're planning on coming out with 5.45 guns, the Crink, a lot of people's favorite out there. I even get people a long time ago. I was talking to Walter about this. A long time ago, Century Arms. I don't know if I can say that without setting anyone off here. But Century Arms was making a bullpup AK. I have one of those that's 5.45, and then I guess it was kind of like hit and miss. Oh, kind of a hit and miss
it
thing.
was Century Arms.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of them out there, but people keep asking me about my 5.45 bullpup, and I think that demand that's building up out there, if people start supplying the guns, it's going to come back. Like Walter said, there needs to be ammo. It needs to be at the right price for people to get in there and plink with it, train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can't be boutique.
No, and it needs to. Well, there also needs to be a market education, right? Like why? And I'm that guy that obviously we if you took the emails of requests for 5.45 and 5.56 mags and 20-round mags that I get on a daily basis, you would think there's millions of people out there, right? They're just very loud. It's like the HK45 when it came out with VP9 mags, right? Suddenly I got 5,000
There are hundreds
requests.
of us.
Yeah, exactly, right? And you're like, if only 3D printing was farther along, I'd love to be your hero, but I just can't pay 30 grand for an extender, but for hundreds. But I think the market education's there. I mean, the AK world, as you guys know, it's uber passionate. It sounds like you guys are all kind of in the space as well. Uber passionate marketplace, but there's a lot of opinions that there hasn't been legitimate validation to support or not support. Like one, debate I'm asking to take place this year is we sell different tiers of our mags, right? A total of 4 different ones plus the funky ones. But the 4 serious products, one of them is a bullet hole open version using the Weapon Tech follower of our magazine. And you talk to guys and they're like, well, we hate BHO. It makes it hard to get it out of the gun. It's like, well, prove it to me. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm saying let's just have a factual debate. People actually, doing their own testing and say, hey, it is or it isn't, versus just this, AK Files opinion that is treated as gospel and become popular, right? It's just like steel mags. Are they impenetrable? No. Can I break a steel mag in 2 seconds? Absolutely, I can. Does that mean they're not good? They're fine. Yeah.
Just a funny thing about that, we actually, in destroying your magazines this weekend, we found something that was positive about the polymer versus steel. Shot a hole through it, which put plastic on the inside, and by ramming rounds down in it, it sheared the plastic off and allowed it to continue functioning, which steel did, which has never happened. You can't.
Yeah, I mean,
once it hits yield on an
this
impact, it's not going to run, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that one there, we sheared the plastic off the inside.
Yeah, that's the exit. That's the exit, and
go.
that's the entry. And yeah, it messed up how many bullets did it mess up? Like 3, 4? Yeah.
Ramming through a couple
Yeah.
rounds.
Oh, this is the one you shot with live ammo in it. That was brave. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one with
Walter, I
that
heard
had
you did not
live ammo.
approve, by the way, so Hank didn't give you credit for trying to play dad in the room.
If something's really going to happen in the real world, it would get shot with ammo in it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
some of the other stuff was kind of extreme, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. If you look at what other people have done, so for example, a Military Arms channel did a video reviewing these versus, I forgot what was it a Bulgarian
AC
magazine?
Unity. It was the military Croatia. I forget what country it was. Bosnian military mags.
Yeah,
I have it out there.
Yeah, and the XTech did great. So Mac decided to try to break it and wasn't having like an easy time breaking it until he took a tree stump. And actually, the tree stump didn't break it the first time.
No,
so I think that they came up with a way to break it, which was interesting. Then I looked at Brandon Herrera. He also did some torture tests with this and got a sledgehammer for this bad boy. That's how he wound up breaking it. As I said, I will roll in footage here of Jeremy running over his own thing with a tank. So for me, I thought, well, okay, Walter and Patrick had these magazines. You know, they shot them. They work. Everyone knows that they work. I don't think that's like, you know, I mean, we could put probably thousands of rounds through it and not really find out much. But what I wanted to do was break it and see what happens. So we have a gorilla. We have our own human gorilla called Opt Out of Gun Control. And we had him throw these at a big metal building that if you look at my channel, you always see it in the background. And I don't know if you could see it, but there are little cracks on there. I don't know if they're going to be super visible to anyone.
We broke the
out
feed
there.
lips. Well,
Yeah. Well,
we
this
cracked the feed lips down the back.
yeah. So we did do that. There's one of them that Walter didn't want us to throw like that at the you know, at the thing. But go
I
ahead.
threw it normally.
Yeah.
And then Opt Out threw it at extreme with extreme anger.
With extreme prejudice.
Yeah. So the thing is, well, and one of the things that let me actually go through this. I'm gonna put this video out so everyone can see it, but it's just gonna take me a little bit of time. So one thing I did notice, let's start there, that I have a milled receiver. This didn't work in the milled receiver. So for some reason, if they're empty and you put them in, they go in, but if they're loaded, they don't go in. So we found that out.
It went into my milled receiver.
Yeah, it went in just fine.
And Walter's okay. So my milled receiver is somehow
A gun made by Century Arms, by the way, too.
yeah.
I mean, we vetted the arsenals, we vetted the Russians, the Chinese, but you get nuance.
It's gonna happen,
quite
yeah.
frankly, whoever made your receiver, I'm not pointing my finger at them. I'd love to talk to them as I discussed with you. Because our mags most likely didn't exist when they came out with their receiver, but we tried to fit everything. I mean, everything we could possibly could.
Right. I'll find out. I think it's CNC. Is it CNC manufacturer?
Warrior?
CNC Warrior maybe that makes that receiver. So anyway, that's what we found out here. So now the one without the steel, that like pretty much became non-functional. Yeah, but
I could get it to work. Like if I really cranked down on it and got it into the mag well and then clicked it in, I could get it to still work. But it did not want to go in the mag well because the feed lips were so far out of spec. But the metal reinforced one was not that difficult to get back into the mag well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think your audio's coming in a little low, Patrick.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, your audio might be. I know Richard Hughes was saying something's going on with your audio. So anyway, we did get them to work. So eventually, we drove over them. So even after we did that, we got I think we were down to 3 of them functioning, and then we drove over them, and that didn't stop it working. So someone said, "Let's shoot it with 545." Opt out. That was Opt Out of Gun Control's idea. So we shot it, and these 2 magazines still kept functioning. Now, one of the magazines, I think it was this one, right, Patrick? The one that didn't have any. This one we clipped the spring, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk loud. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
We shot the spring out of the side of it, so we clipped the spring in half, but it would still load and shoot to 5. So I could still load it up to 5 and shoot it, and it worked fine.
Yeah. This one this one was full, had bullets in it, got hit, all that kind of stuff. We pulled out the spring. Spring is 100% fine, so now it's an open window magazine. Still works. So.
What round count is the hole at?
Right, exactly. It looks,
I don't know.
I'm guessing 22. That's
yeah,
what I
let's
guess
see.
right
Yeah,
now.
right there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see if I could pull up. I'm going to pull up the footage of the tank going over it here while we're talking about this. These guys sent me footage here. Let's see. Yeah.
So my question is, I have a question.
Okay.
Mag loader.
Yeah.
Are there mag loaders that work with the XTech magazine? Because I know that the XTech magazine is wider than normal.
Right.
So just for fun, I happen to have one of those AC Unity, some of their magazines while we were out there at Hank's, and actually I had one of their mag loaders, but it wouldn't quite snap on because of the width. So I don't know.
So what's the Polish company?
But are there
what's
ones that snap on that work?
Yeah, the Polish company that has the tabletop loader. I'm trying Potovac. So Potovac, like those tabletop ones, you just have to either shim, like put something behind it, or cant the angle a little bit, and then you can load them all day long. I can got a couple of videos online on that, but the Potovac bench loaders, they work. You just got to kind of change the angle just a little bit, where it's kind of canted this way, very slightly, or put something under it. Yeah. The nice thing is, I mean, our feed lips are so stiff. I think they're pretty easier to load just because you're not fighting that flex, right? Like on a PMAG, you get that kind of outward flex as you load it that kind of fights you. But then being so stiff, it kind of just, they want to go home, you know, which is pretty helpful. But I'm all about easy loading of magazines, as you will find out in 2 months when our easy loading AR mag that has a speed loader integrated into it comes to market, which is the first product I ever invented that we referenced earlier with one of my partners, Dave.
Interesting. We'll have to. I guess we can't show anything from that one yet, right?
We've shown it before. I don't have one here that I can think of. I'll look in a second.
Okay. Let me see if
we have nothing to hide.
Let me see if I can roll in some of this tank footage. So there's a lot of footage. There's a lot of footage here. So let me play this. Let me play this tank.
So it's a
footage.
28-ton Chieftain British manufactured tank is the backstory here, owned by folks at Bulletproof Diesel in Mesa.
So this is the tank rolling off. Oh, you've got one still in the bag, and then the metal magazines are just flat. So, yeah. I don't know if Walter's going to be able to figure it out from the tank treads there. Yeah, oh, that's messed up. See, I treated these things gently compared to this.
You did.
Yeah. The metal magazine's just flat. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. YouTube.
My heart was slightly broken when it didn't work out, but you know, knowing your point of failure is the best. You know, it's like accepting reality, right? As a human being, knowing your weaknesses is the best way to get better. So we know, you know, definitively we have hands down the best U.S. made product ever, and for a AK mag.
So here's the tank driving over them right now. Boom, there you go. Sorry, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm just throwing up footage here. So. This is what was going on there. I'll play the tank backing off of it again one more time for you guys so that Walter could see this. What tank was this?
So it was a British Chieftain tank. So the weight was 28 tons, 28 long tons, if that makes a difference. I'm not going to pretend to be Mr. Tank expert, but it was a big tank. It was
yeah. I mean, these tracks alone, the weight of the tracks alone have got to be, yeah. So we don't. When I actually throw up the video, I've got, because these guys sent me all the footage they have from that. So I'll throw the whole tank in there for you, Walter, so you get to see. You can get some tank love going.
Well, I'm getting some tank love. I'm getting some tank love going this weekend at the rally. So.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, Walter's a military vehicle guy, by the way.
Awesome. Well, maybe none in Florida will have to find other things to run it over with. But Flying Rich made a comment that we should do the test on softer soil, and I know quite a few of our competitors that would have. I thought I had a shot. I'll be honest. Maybe it was arrogance, but I thought I had a shot.
If you do it on asphalt or concrete, you're flirting with disaster. Right?
Physics.
You don't run it over once. You run it as the tracks go over it. It just kind of grinds it into the freaking. To the pavement.
That was hard packed gravel, and if you notice, the tank could only exit in one little area, right? So according to the tank guy driving the tank, he said they had it through that channel a couple thousand times, in his words. So it was pretty hard packed gravel that we went on there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So and then let me see here the progression of what we're talking about. So what were I know you went through this already, but what are the different magazines that are out right now?
So we have the different tiers of the AK mags. So all polymer that, like I said, is a great range mag. It's as good as any in this category at $15. The Mag 47, which is still reinforced. The Mag 47 mil, which has the additional solid steel machined rear lug area. Then the BHO. Then we have the H&K VP9 P30 mags. Okay. We're about to release our easy loading AR mag, which is kind of a cool, range training tool. And then our shielded mag extenders, BP9 +5s, M&P full size +5s, AR grip, and the Smart Laser.
Okay. So is the easy loading? I know John sent me a picture of an AR with a cream-looking magazine. Is that the easy loading one? Before I throw it up here, I don't know if it's like a special prototype magazine that you don't want out there before I throw up a picture of it. So
I'm sorry, what's that?
yeah, so John sent me a picture of an AR with a magazine, and it's like a cream.
Oh yeah,
color
no, that's a prototype. Go ahead and throw that up. Yep.
Okay, I can show that. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So let's put this one up there. So is this the AR? Is this the AR one or?
Yeah, I can't see it. I'm on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't.
It'll roll
you can't
through.
see it on Skype.
Yeah, it's got
If he's not watching the video, he can't.
It's got like a black stripe or band around it.
Yeah, it's it.
Okay.
John knows the scoop, so yep. That's if John says it's it, it's it. Yeah.
Okay. Very
so yeah,
cool.
basically that the follower is connected to that grip, if you will. So you just pull that down and drop the rounds in. Works with 300 blackout, works with stripper clips. I mean, we kind of just we wanted to learn as much as we could about the M4 AR platform, because we're not shy that what we did with the AK, we plan to do with Glock and AR. So we went overkill. The polymer we used, again, is a third never before used in magazines approach. So yeah, and we had a little legal battle behind the scenes for about a year over some nonsense, but we're through that. And it's now going to be called the Speed Mag. The one John had was called the X Mag. Okay. And we're going to be selling that within 30, 45 days. We had to get rid of inventory, unfortunately, and build new. I decided I couldn't take on two giants at once, so it's what it is.
All right. I'm going to encourage everyone out there to smash those thumbs ups. I also did show a picture of John hanging out there with you guys. So what's going on with the different lawsuits and stuff like that? You've alluded to that. What can we talk about?
Yeah,
what's going on there?
Since October of, well, I guess it still goes back to September of 2018, Sensory Arms filed suit against XTech, myself, and my wife, who's not even an owner of the company. And I guess at first it was XTech in September in Florida. They dropped that suit, and then October, that was when it was XTech, me, and my wife, and that's all the parties' names. So, and that was in Arizona. So their approach has been, that there's the topic of the suit is for trade dress. So they are saying the waffle and the tread pattern on our Mag 47, and I'll grab one here real quick, infringes on the trade dress of the U.S. Palm, which they allege to have acquired.
You should just put bullets in all of them, because that
yeah, exactly.
Trademark the bullet holes.
The issue is trade dress is something that, so when people hear litigation and they hear, intellectual property, they assume a patent exists. No patent ever existed. The designs to the products are actually owned by Tango Down. So we discovered that, company that owns the tooling, got that product into the hands of Tango Down, that grip that they originally designed. So we work closely with Tango Down. I mean, I try and stand up for other small guys too. And so anyway, the whole U.S. Palm story is, long and kind of irrelevant to the litigation itself. The litigation is about a big company coming after a small one, knowing they can't win, and the hopes of drowning us in legal fees.
Just intimidation, basically, right?
It is. And unfortunately, the American public really believes that if they have no case, it'll get dismissed, right? They think this word dismissal means something. And that's just not the case, unfortunately. And so my goal is to, I've already met with numerous members of Congress. I'll continue to do so after we receive a judgment where a judge validates my opinion on our direct case. I've been promised from Congress that, they're going to do a lot more about it. But essentially right now, a company like ours will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars defending themselves. And then the legal precedent to even get your money back in federal court is an uphill battle. And then if that all happens, we survive that. So basically, instead of being able to, look at a company like ours, we had a valuation that we were about to take on outside capital prior to the lawsuit. And as soon as the lawsuit started, that was crippled, right? I mean, it went from, it was almost 20% of what the valuation we were getting pre the lawsuit. So all that said, I mean, to me, it's about being able, like, if you call me, Hank, and you say, hey, I got an idea, Jeremy, I've heard you're a good guy. John and I are very close friends. So that would happen if you had an idea. John would probably say, talk to me about your invention. I want to tell you a story other than, if a big guy takes notice and wants to put you out of business, you're screwed unless you have $10 million in the bank. That's the reality of the story today. And I really want to change it. So to have trade dress in the topic of the suit, the waffle pattern would have to be synonymous, unique to US Palm, non-functional. In this case, US Palm and both Century now, with their recent release of the magazine, market these features as functional. If they're functional, you can't have trade dress, black and white. If they're not unique, you can't have trade dress, black and white. They went for trademarks, which would be an official filing of intellectual property and something they would own for those same features, and they were denied both times. They went to the trademark office for trademarks for being both functional and not unique, right? What's interesting is the USPTO in their second findings used a product that XTech designed, a grip for HexMag, one of our grips we private label for them, as evidence of the waffle pattern not being unique. So I'm sure that made some people happy on their side. But the issue then is, we asked the judge to dismiss our case in part on the foundation of the trademark office twice denying them in a, same Google search anyone would do in 5 minutes, which was asking a lot of the judge, but also common sense to apply in our legal system, which I think is what's needed here, right? And he denied it by it not being a final action. Well, a consumer can hear that and go, well, the trademark office isn't done. That's not the case here. The case here is there's nothing a defendant can do to force a final action. So basically, if you are someone going for a trademark, you get 3 tries. If you're denied 3 times, you're out. It's a final action. Then it has to be considered in court. Now, can this finding by the trademark office be used in court? Yes, but not through the end of discovery, which means as a defendant, you're talking $250,000 plus or minus at a minimum to even get to the time where evidence matters. So all that matters up to that point is the court assumes everything that the plaintiff, in this case Century, wrote as factually true, that it's non-functional, that it's unique. And as a little guy, if what they wrote is legalese, they have good attorneys, which of course Century has one of the top law firms in the country, Greenberg Traulig, that's known to represent, what I would publicly consider and others consider bullies in the legal system. So with all that said, there's nothing we could do. So they went, typically if you abandon your filing, meaning you don't respond within, I think it's 90 days, it's considered done, you lose as well. Well, Century went and said, well, we're litigating with someone, so put a stay on that 90 days. So we're then powerless. So the trademark office, even though they tried, denied, common sense applied in the trademark world, the judge refused to acknowledge that in the motion to dismiss phase. So then we are forced into the discovery phase, which concludes in the next 90 days at most. To we've made it. I mean, bottom line is, we made it. We're ready for trial. To me, could we have spent money and changed the design to something like no waffles, no tread? Well, the waffles do make it stronger, just like cross beams in a bridge make things stronger. Their legal arguments are absolute nonsense. We've shared some of those on our social media. If you haven't seen those, check them out. Such as they're saying, although they're functional, their users, or the average guy, these weren't, their magazines weren't intended for combat. So therefore, they're not functional because their consumer wasn't a qualified user or a combat user, whatever phrase you want to use there, right? Which is ludicrous from a legal argument standpoint. It's like saying the car had a turbocharger. Yes, the turbo worked, but you weren't selling it to race car drivers, so therefore the turbo is non-functional. Well, the other thing is they're saying it's a unique look, but they put the waffle and tread there to make it look military grade. Well, if I made a car look like a race car, wouldn't that be implying that it's not unique, right? So again, it's just the right legalese phrases to continue and propagate the suit. And based on my own research as a little guy, and the advice I would give every entrepreneur in anything, whether you're making a product or you're in a legal battle or anything, is you got to take ownership of every step. So for me, the second these threats started coming, it was do your homework, do your research. Went to 6 different law firms. Do they have any chance? No. But here's the hard reality, right?
Yeah, they're playing legal.
Spend a bunch of money.
Right, they're playing legal chicken with you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
And-
Walt. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, and so for me, it's yes. Do I want to win? Yes. Is it fun at times to kind of be the guy making a strong stand? Absolutely. I enjoy things I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about small business. I would love to, whether credit's irrelevant, but love to know that I did something to help that American dream survive and thrive. The system's intended, and the whole argument of the system is to protect guys like the four of us and everyone watching today, assuming everyone here doesn't have, $100 million plus net worth, right? But that's what it's supposed to be. And the system itself is being used to, if Facebook and Amazon and companies like that decided they want to own the internet, guess what? They outlawyer you, and good luck, and that's the system we have today. So it's about a anti-capitalism ability to use the system itself. So to me, find someone who has a repeated pattern of behavior or possibly does, and investigate them and show them, add additional damages and protections when the judges rule. I mean, right now, one of the abilities the judge has is to say, Century abused the legal system, and in this case. And when in that ruling, their penalty would be to pay me back my legal fees. Mm-hmm. So that's as if the penalty for robbing a bank was you'd have to pay it back. Well, how would our banking system be doing right now in our country?
How,
right? If you get caught. Go ahead, Walt. Go ahead.
Have one.
Yeah.
You really think the lawyers are going to go? They're going to shut the lawyers down? They're not going to do it. They only do it. It just doesn't happen.
And Walter, I 100% agree with you. I mean, is this a light fight I'm taking on? Absolutely not, right? Mm-hmm. And making a stand, but show me the little guys. I mean, the little guys that have made it through, right? They don't, right? And I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for everyone indirectly, people I don't know. And to me, that's what it's about. Call me crazy, but I'm in my 30s. I kind of always joking with my friends that my 20s and 30s are my years to fight for what I believe in. And in my 40s, maybe I have to get a corporate gig and figure out retirement. But, once you get, to me as an entrepreneur, once you get to a certain point where someone, if you're a self-made person that didn't come from, I came from a safe environment and public service house. But once you get to the point where that if someone strips everything from you and you're still going to be stronger and higher and more successful than you are right now, 5 years from now, no matter what happens, good luck. I mean, fighting guys like with that mindset, if you're a big guy who inherited something like the guy who controls Century is, I'm sorry, it's not a fair fight in a different regard, right? You may have a lot more money, you may have a lot more resources, but you're not going to have, you can't buy that. You can't go to a school and get that. And I think, Walter, if you start your business from scratch, I'm hoping, you had that day where you go, look, whoever door knocks you or whatever happens in life, if you lost it all, you come back 2 times stronger. And so to me, that's an advantage as a little guy.
Well, go ahead, Walt. I'll let you get in.
Obviously, you've seen my one of my trademarks, my palm tree logo, right?
Well, you came up to me. So in my other hat, I'm the guy that makes plastics. At SHOT, I was in the supplier showcase. I told Hank we've met. Mm-hmm. And you came up to me, and I don't know if a magazine was on a table or what have you, showing the plastics, right? That's the Molded Devices is the company. It's a large organization, by the way. And all this threats from Century started with them. And then they realized they wouldn't back down and they had the means to defend themselves. Then they went, we'll go after the little guy and break them. But yeah, you came up to me and pointed out the trademark filing that you had made. And so we have met, although very briefly.
Go ahead, Walt.
I was like I said, I came up with the idea for my logo before US Palm ever did theirs, but I never filed. And then when they did, I didn't do anything, obviously. And so then when I heard US Palm went belly up for some reason, do you know why they went belly up?
I do, but kind of that's I would categorize as more, more noise than relevant.
Was it like
no upside for me sharing that kind of, there was
mismanagement.
There was some known things in the industry.
As soon as I heard they went belly up, I immediately went to the trademark office website, and I look at their trademark, and it was abandoned. No. And I'm going, holy fuck! They abandoned the trademark? What are they doing? And so then I called my trademark guy, who's Ben Langlotz. I don't know if you know him, but anyways, he represents a lot of people, and he goes boom, and we filed right away, and actually we got approved before they got approved for ours. So and I haven't heard a word from them because it's similar but different. I mean, we're not doing it in the same sense some of they're doing, but I mean, as soon as I saw your magazine with the pattern there, I think in Century or excuse me, US Palm never filed a design patent.
So Tango Down. So if you're familiar with Tango Down, not Hank, you can maybe pull some up real quick, but Tango Down ARC magazine, ARC, and the Tango Down Battle Grip were existing AR-15 products, right? So if you look at the Tango Down ARC magazine, it predates the Palm Mag by, I believe, 6 to 7 years. So the backstory of the US Palm Plastics is folks who were funded by the Scottsdale Gun Club, which if people don't know nationwide is probably one of the more ritzy and at the time certainly over the top and whatever word you want to call it, state of the art. It was very state of the art for when it came out, but nationally known shop up here in North Scottsdale. And anyway,
I think we all have some of these Tango Downs with that waffle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what happened is, the guys who end up being the employees, Robert Anderson, the guy who calls himself the founder of Palm, right, funded by Terry Schmidt of the Scottsdale Gun Club, came to Jeff Cahill and said, hey, you design an AK version of your AR products, and we'll market and sell it under this brand we're going to form, and it will be a joint venture. You'll get some money from each mag. We'll get some money from each mag. We'll put up the money for tooling, and that's what happened. So Jeff Cahill, and I wasn't there, so I can go off of Jeff Cahill's testimony. My personal experience with Jeff is he's a friend and he's a very high integrity individual. Him and I have been through a lot together because of this litigation. So Jeff and what he supported in writing, owned the designs to these magazines. So XTech, actually, even though we don't need it because there was no patent, there was no trademark, we're the only with a license to Jeff Cahill's design. To this day, Century does not possess that. So, what happened in the course of acquisition of US Palm and is that, as you mentioned, Walter, US Palm went out of business. They made a Facebook post saying they were done. It was ironic. It was on April Fool's, right, which confused a lot of people. And then they didn't even renew their trademarks, which is like $100, right, to renew your trademarks. And
yeah, it was like,
so Century jumped on and
everything. I'm out.
So Century had jumped on, and they had a lot of debt. I mean, we made the US Palm Mags, being Molded Devices, the company I work for and head up their firearms division. And US Palm, I made their mags at a prior place. So when they split up with Tango Down, they came to one place. About 2 years later, I moved to another manufacturer, and they followed me. So I think that's more of a testament than anything else, right? You're not going to follow someone if they weren't highly ethical and took care of you and did a great job, right? So, and then they end up owing money to my employer and owing money to other people. And so anyway, they went under. Century alleges they bought them, but what they did is they went and took their names. They filed trademarks on the US Palm name and logo. And then 7 months later or 9 months later, I forget the exact dates now, they alleged to have executed a purchase contract to buy them, which is not an up and up transaction. I mean, that's just
okay. So you're saying Century went in and grabbed all the intellectual property,
just the name and logo. That's all there was to grab.
Okay.
So they
did that, and then they circled around and have alleged that they acquired US Palm thereafter, and therefore the trade dress.
Yeah. Hold on one sec, Patrick. You didn't come in. You want to repeat that?
I was just saying, sounds like they bullied them into it.
Yeah.
They took all the other potential buyers off the table, which I do know for a fact, and folks will testify at trial. I mean, that there were folks that, knew I made the Palm Mags for them, that had reached out to me saying they were interested in buying them. And once Century was involved in Century's history of litigating, they kind of crossed out every other potential buyer for them. So that's just the facts. It's indisputable. It's public record. Anyone that's wondering, you can go on uspto.gov, search Century Arms, search US Palm, and you'll see the dates when they did this, which was August of, I believe, 17. So that's public record. It's not disputable, right? So many small guys, and that's, I think, something different about me, and a lot of people think I might be insane by talking about ongoing litigation when the typical topic is, don't talk, because that is what your lawyers say, because it's safe, and it's kind of lazy on the lawyer's part, right? When I picked a law firm, that was a critical part to me. Hey, we're going to be an open book, we're going to share it. And people think, well, this could be considered defamation, what have you. When you tell the truth and you can prove the truth, that's not defamation, right? And that's black and white. So any little guy out there going to fight behind the scenes, just know that, and get your own legal advice. But, do your own legal research. Just don't talk to an attorney and call it a day. You got to be your own fighter. Yeah.
So where do you think your chances stand right now? I'm sure we could get real deep into this, but right now you guys there's some period of time that's going to pass here, and then there's going to be a decision. How are you feeling about it? Is it 50-50? Are you pretty sure you're going to win? What are you thinking?
So from a legal proceeding standpoint, we would win, will win, right? If it gets to the point of trial, right? So obviously the plaintiff can drop a suit at any point, right? And then we have to file to go after our legal fees. With discovery ending, we have the choice to file for default summary judgment or just let it go to trial, right? Mm-hmm. So, the real challenge that we have in front of us today is, a judgment allows us to have a voice for small business, which is a huge passion element to us. It's still six figures to get to a judgment. So
I think if they have lawyers on retainer, there's no chance of them dropping anything anytime soon. But hopefully you do win that, and then then we could strike one up for the little guys.
Yeah, we're gonna win, right? It's just the definition of win. Will it be everything you hope for? Well, are we guaranteed to get our money back? We're not, right? No. And
in the long run, when you're the little guy, you always lose. You always lose if you're the little guy, because there's lots of things you could be making right now, building your business, building your brand name, and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, these guys obviously are going on doing their thing. It's one of those things about the behind the scenes of all this that the folks out there that just buy stuff don't necessarily know. I think it's a good thing to take a look at it.
And the last thing, I'll on Century Arms front, right? Yeah. Just so the world knows where I stand is I actually, and this may sound contradictory, right? But I think foremost as a consumer, right? And I think that's the best way for companies to be successful. I hope Century, improves their products, and just like Palmetto is, and Riley is, and Wistikoff USA is trying to establish a name, Zastava. There's more competition in the AK space than there's been in a decade, if not more. Right, Century basically had a monopoly on the space, but I hope Century improves their products, because the more companies we have making good products, the better for the AK market as a whole. So, I just want to pass that. That's a core belief of what we believe in here is, really, we want a lot of companies making great AKs, and then capitalism wins. I mean, that's what should happen. That's where consumers win, and prices will be driven down, and the AK can become the people's gun, like it should.
Absolutely. Let me get in this comment from Brandon Herrera. He's in the chat. Shout out to Brandon. He says Jeremy is the man, paving the way as an example of small business sticking to your guns against the odds. And it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. Not an easy thing. Especially when you have employees and all that kind of stuff. As you know, Walter, fighting these fights. Sometimes with Walter, you've gone up against the ATF.
You gotta, I'll just leave it at that, Chief.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy, money. It does. All that kind of stuff.
It all depends on how much you want to throw at it, and to what end. In the end, are you gonna, even if you do win, are you winning? You gotta.
There's no win within the system for a little guy. Within the system, there's no win, and that's just
the problem with the system is that, first thing, it should never get to the point that it's at. There should be somebody who's not a judge, not a lawyer. Look at that and go, what is this crap?
Well, it's some kind of
adjudicator.
Right? What are you trying to pull here? Get out of here.
People think there's an arraignment, right? Or it's like Judge Judy, like, what's the foundation of your case? Like the 5-minute results of, that trademark guy, Walter, as a guy with trademarks, our trademark reviewers approve everything and then publish it for denial, right? They're not experts. They don't pretend to be. They count on you to list prior art, and then they publish it for opposition. And it's on little guys like you and me and our competitors to scrub the published trademarks and go, wait, that infringes on me. So for a trademark in multiple cases, multiple features to be denied, that's, by layman's definition, obvious that there's a problem and you're not going to get one. And that should be enough where a little guy or say, hey, you know what, Century, this case is dismissed. You have to go for your third time and be granted to then bring the case against a smaller party. But more importantly, there should be damages within the suit. If a judge says you abused it, there should be punitive damages. And my recommendation to Congress is just like if an employer does not pay an employee, it's 3x. So what are the damages in my case and every little guy? 3x the legal fees. So then is it fix the problem? No, but does it add a layer of honesty before you go after a little guy? It's something, right? I mean, I would like a lot more, but I'm trying to achieve something that can actually pass Congress and get through, knowing that Congress is funded, all their elections, by the big guys, right? So, you got to be realistic and tempered. So it's an uphill fight, but but I mean, to me, that's what it's about. It's not about waffle and tread, right? It's about an honesty factor in a system that is, honestly going to be the death of the American dream if nothing's done. And that's the truth. I don't want to be dramatic, but it's the truth. It's why bother, if you're going to just wait for one big guy.
There's also something for karma. I think karma will play some part in this. And also the space. There's people in the space, man, that I don't know. Listen, for the consumer, for the guys out there interested in AKs, I hope that all of this competition gets better guns, better prices. But I think this could all change very quickly. And yeah, like we're talking about PSA, man, they're doing like high quality stuff, very good prices out there. They are looking to crush.
I mean, they're actually listening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you hang out in the AK files and the AK groups, it was like all these angry kids that were ignored, right? They were the middle child syndrome. I'm a middle child, though. But where it's, I have no voice, no one hears me, everyone's paying attention to the ARs and everything else. For years, it was just like this resentment and anger towards the manufacturers, especially U.S. manufacturers, right? Because it was like, hello, you're not listening. And a lot of people stepped out on a limb and bought first-generation rifles. And PSA acknowledges they had issues, and each company had issues, but PSA is listening. I mean, I think the recipe is pretty simple, and their competitors don't really want to hear it. But if you listen to your consumers and you acknowledge if you made a mistake, and I will say this as well, even with friends, I think, PSA could do more to acknowledge some mistakes. They know it. I don't have too much personal knowledge on it, but if you just stand up and say, hey, I messed up, this is what I can do about it. That goes a long way. You know what I mean? Like it just, you don't see that in the gun industry. I mean, you got a lot of the big pistol manufacturers that use consumers as their test market, and they still get awarded contracts. And it's just, they glance past issues. And it's just, I think, I don't know. I think
does that resemble SIG? I don't know.
I didn't say a name. I don't know. To me, honesty sells. I think, with the rise of the power that someone like yourself, Hank, has now, and just look at outside the gun industry, the power of social media. I think people are drawn to, just transparency and honesty, right? Yeah. If you mess up, I have faith that you're going to go, look, I messed up. Like people dig that. You don't see it from companies, though. It's look at our gun bunnies or look at our tactical guides, and they're shooting and it's cool, and here's our 40 paid chills. They're saying it's cool, and buy our stuff. I don't know.
I think ultimately, like you said, information is the thing, and the consumers out there are getting more and more educated and understanding these things. And I think when they hear these stories, and then they start to realize, like, oh, because people obviously buy the product, but I think they buy the people behind that product more so, right? So when you start seeing the people behind a product and you like those guys, you're like, hey, I'm going to get behind these guys and support them. At the same time, if you hate those guys and you don't appreciate how they roll, you're like, yeah, I am not supporting those guys. Just ask HK, Yeah.
So I think this industry, honestly, Palmetto is love them or hate them. I mean, they're making noise, and they've done a lot to upset it. So just keep watching Palmetto. I think they're kind of having the biggest impact on the industry. And yes, it's sad to see some AR manufacturers, some of our customers that were buying thousands of our grips no longer exist. There's a downside to it, but I think for average American now, it's taking $200-$300 off the cost of an AR, right? I mean,
Go ahead, Walt. What are you going to say?
There were thousands of AR manufacturers. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, well, what was an AR manufacturer, right? The dirty secret was
everybody,
the name, right? Yeah, everyone.
They were all in the Hillary plan, and Hillary didn't get elected. So I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. The market. This is how the market works. Yeah.
I mean, the AR industry is still riding that. That wave is still going. It hasn't stopped yet. I mean, as far as prices go, the prices are creeping up, but the wave is still. You can lower if you lower the. Oh, I'll say this.
We have a lot of product in the market. That's why, Walt. Because
once
there's still a lot of guns out
there.
Yeah.
Once you get used to something at $350, $400, $500, if you back it up to $1,500,
nope.
You might as well just tell your employees to go home and close the door.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, so much of this industry is driven by marketing, right? I mean, we all go around SHOT Show and we all see it as noise. I mean, I think everyone here has probably been there, 5 times, if not 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're probably decade 10-year guys, and it's just noise. To me, and that's kind of our brand MO. Hank was alluding to earlier and joking, and Brandon's now in the chat, right? All these guys can attest to, I say, break my stuff. Because what I want to do is show the world why I don't want to fight with a consumer and go, your magazine should be $10, right? That's not a fight I'm going to take up. I believe it's worth what I sell it for. And I'm going to show you why. So to someone that wants to sell a $15, $100 AR, I think there's a place in the market for that. Can you sell tens of thousands of them? No. But are there guys I know that I sell grips to and hang out with and talk to that sell $1,500 ARs and are still in business? Yes. They have niche companies, but they show what makes their system special, right?
Yeah.
And
they probably do something a little different than everybody.
And some of those guys were in there longer than others, so they built a brand. I know people. Let me tell you, most of the guys who jumped in on the tail end of that Obama run, they're out of that. They have shut down production.
A lot of them suffered from the fact that they were not in the gun business before Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just hire someone else to make a variance, and all they made was maybe their own handguard, and they put together other people's parts, even if they did that, and that was an AR brand, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they had no concept of how it was normally.
Yeah, they also didn't. Yeah, they didn't know the customers, etc. And I think there is something to look. You know what? I hope in the video that I'm going to do, I catch the look on Walter and Babyface's faces, because they were really pissed off that we destroyed these magazines.
Oh no, I wasn't pissed off. I'm just.
It's like you're destroring good magazines
I
for no reason.
I would get you more, Walter. I promise I'll get you a rotten banana mag too.
Not that. I mean, I've seen some, and I always bring this up, dragging an AK behind a truck down a rock road. Is that supposed to be a test? That's not a test. Mm-hmm. That's just it's just straight up abuse. That's what it is. So anything will fail. Anything will fail if you test
100%.
If you do it hard enough.
Absolutely. I think that's what I mean. Okay, Walter, that sounds so logical and simple, but I don't think everyone understands that. And what you really want to know, like what I want to know about things is like, okay, when this thing fails, what does it do? How does it fail? Does it fail dramatically? Can you still, if this is the only magazine that you walked out into the woods with and got into the zombie apocalypse, are you totally done now? Is your AK a piece of metal? Are you just throwing the bullets around, or, can you do something with it? I think that's interesting, but yes, I agree with you. Of course, if you drive it over with a tank, smash it with a sledgehammer, drop a tree stump on it, or have a big massive dude throw this thing at a steel
something's going to break.
Building. Yes, things are going to break, and now what? And I think that also has entertainment value to it, of course.
Well, when you make a best in category, whether that's best for the money or best period or best, hits Xbox, your best marketing is the truth, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where the break my stuff thing comes from is, I prefer when you're breaking, my competition's like doing the same torture to the competition so people can see, but at the same time, it's, that's how I like to market. I like to market as the truth. If a product's designed to go to the grave and back, I'm going to tell you. If it's not, I'm going to tell you, right?
Yeah.
We try and bring unique niche products to the industry that have a reason to exist is kind of what we stick behind is, we have some products that aren't designed to take the grave and back, right? Like our our smart laser that's designed as the ultimate nightstand tool for average American. And Hank, you're going to get one out in the near future. Check out and share with your audience. But
yeah, I checked it out at SHOT Show. Let me see. I should look and see if I've got pictures of it. Also, by the way, real quick, Opt Out of Gun Control says it was interesting. That's our gorilla, by the way.
Hey, gorilla.
Yeah. If you see him, Walter, Patrick, am I making this up?
He's a big
Dude,
boy.
I don't even want to bump into him accidentally.
He's got a very authoritative grip. I have to say that.
He's pretty solid. I don't know what the hell. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he's some kind of anomaly in the bloodline or what, but he's a tough guy. He says it was interesting how well some of the magazines still perform knowing we trashed them. So let me see if I could pull up the laser here. Also, one of the things, so you know what? At some point here, we should try to get into the conversation of what prototype we want to work on. I know Babyface wants an AK-74 mag. Have we...
AK-74 mag, I mean, that's something that the second the market's there, we're jumping on it, right? Obviously, if the litigation goes away and we get our money back, then that's even cooler. We're going to go that way. As long as the market gets there, there will be an XTech AK-74 mag, whether that's 2020, 2021. It will be there if the market accepts the platform, right? What we need is PSA 74 to be great. If, the other guys, when they make them, they need them to be great. They need to work, listen to consumers. Same things, the PSA is kind of leading the way in right now in the 47 category. For American guys, believe me, I'm a comm block guy at heart, but the reality is those imports, we've seen what the prices are, right? I mean, companies like Zastava and Arsenal, they just go higher and higher and higher. And now you've got, probably your best value import is from WBP, right? Brought in by Atlantic. And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, those have never been used in military use. They're a commercial company out of Poland. So, U.S. getting there on their own needs to happen. And I'm not telling people to go out and buy American-made AKs. I'm just saying, take a look and do your own homework, but don't write them off,
Okay. All right.
Someone keeps saying PS90 magazine lower, and I think it's the big man. So PS90 is an interesting magazine.
Loader. PS90 magazine.
That's the weirdest magazine I've ever handled in my life. Are you familiar with that mag?
Yes, I am. It's flat. Well, it's a flat top mag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it loads. I'm trying to remember it. It's somewhere in the middle. You push it, or somewhere on the top. You push the rounds in. Yeah,
you might be inventorying those for a while.
The thing here is we'll make one, right? Yeah. We'll design one, and I'm not planning to build tooling on it. I mean, if these guys all wanted to buy 1,000 each that are watching right now and write me checks, then we can talk. But
so what's the parameters? What's the parameters that we're looking at for this then? And then we'll get ideas from people. Just tell us the parameters.
I honestly would suggest something more down the lines of an invention, right? Versus make a magazine. I mean, I think we've established we can do that. And that's more of a simple process, right? You don't have to involve as much IP search on it and patents. Okay. I think, something that, maybe like the idea in my head is like a multifunctional bipod or a multifunctional grip or something down the lines that that does something else would be pretty cool. I'm down to make a mag. I don't want to say no. I think people that follow us and know me in the AK groups and stuff, we have to make something called an F Jerry magazine for Kalash Bash because I told people I'd make whatever they asked for. And again, I've wasted like 20 hours of my life trying to find someone that's willing to make that magazine.
F Jerry.
So we will do what they want, but I think it'd be more educational and a more benefit to the home inventor or the person with the product idea if we did something a little more novel than a magazine.
Flying Rich says a pick rail mount bear holder with a swivel.
We're down. I mean, that one I would say keep around. Why not? We can do that.
Multi-purpose. Okay, so there you go. That's the parameters. Walter, if you have an idea, Patrick, if you have an idea. I know the only thing you're thinking, AK-74 magazines. So what about flashlights are not a new invention, but what about a multi-purpose flashlight?
I'm down. I mean, what something comes to mind that
I don't know. It might be cool to have like a flashlight that's also a holder of things, like maybe a flashlight but you could put keys in it or something like that. You could put little tools like an AR tool, maybe a little metal AR tool. You could just, because I always have, okay, so here's the thing. Let's try to think practically, and everyone could throw up their ideas. I'm going to throw up the crazy ideas first, so no one else looks crazy except me.
So shit to put in your pockets?
Do I want to shoot my pockets?
No, I said more shit to put in your pockets.
Well, so here's what I'm saying. Okay, Flying Rich says, I know 30 round mag for 10 millimeter high point.
Well, don't laugh about the high point
the yeet cannon, or
don't laugh about a high point high capacity magazine. You sell a shitload of them.
Yeah, okay. Have you thought about that, Jeremy? High point magazines?
I haven't. I mean, that's kind of. I mean, that would be a toss-up. I'm down to do it. That would be a very easy one for my my engineers, because what we do there is just do an extender for the existing mag like we've done. Mm-hmm. You know, Hank, you've seen them. I think we got an awesome design on mag extenders that is the best in the world.
There's some out there already where they hook another one on. It's kind of at an angle, and it's just kind of...
but you've got to pull it out and flip it over. Okay, so listen. So here's my thing. We and I want people to give up their ideas here, but let's think of something along the lines of EDC. Can we, if we're gonna take this shot, can we do something practical EDC? What's always in your pockets? Your wallet? Like, okay, right now I'm gonna take everything out of my wallet. Okay, I got a wallet. I know people say the wallet's too big. I get it. I have a flashlight. That's in my pocket always. Okay, I got a knife. There's my knife right there. Custom Hank Strange Microtech. Shout out to those guys. Okay, so let me see. Oh, I got chapstick. Very important, especially for the the lip enhanced.
Come on.
No Botox, by the way, in there. So that's pretty much what's in my pockets. Oh wait, I got a magazine. I can't show. I can't show my my gun or anything like that, and I've got a gun on me. So why don't we think of something like that you can maybe replace a couple of these things that you have and make it more practical. And everyone should have a flashlight on them. Everyone. Always, at all times. Patrick's not going to back me up on this, because if he's not getting his AK-74 mag...
No, I like flashlights. Is that what you were saying?
No, what I'm saying is like maybe, obviously flashlights already exist, but something that's, let's say maybe like a flashlight, but you could store other stuff in there that you might need. You could put some keys in there.
I mean, I'm just throwing some arguments to this flashlight holder thing. What point does it not become something you stick in your pocket?
Yeah, I know. If it gets too bulky.
I mean, okay, take old school mag light, drop this in the front of it, and the back is all empty, and you got your thing. You got what you're talking about. Your little, you got your flashlight in the front and your cartridge thing in your carrier in the back. I don't know.
Harry's
nice
holsters.
Flashlight combo.
Yeah, Harry's holster says a slim EDC wallet that doesn't suck. Slim EDC wallet that doesn't suck.
One man's not suck is another man's suck.
Yannick Stoner says my phone has a flashlight on it.
An AK-style magazine that dispenses Pez or chapstick.
Yeah. Johnny Kamikaze says chapstick flashlight, call the stranger. Chapstick flashlight.
Come on, keep them coming, guys.
Yeah, Opt Out of Gun Control said that one. Let's see. Knife flashlight
Beskar steel pattern. My Cerakote guy would love that.
Beskar
He's calling Beskar chips. Hit up We Plead the Second if you want Beskar. I don't know. I don't understand that still. I don't know what that even is, but I've seen it.
Yeah. You don't know about the Beskar steel? You don't know about this?
From the Mandalorian?
Yeah, Mandalorian. Baby Yoda?
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
Sorry.
Okay. Walter.
All respect lost right there.
Jason St. Pierre says, "I don't care what you make unless it's quick release." So what about what do you think, Walter? What do you think here? What's your idea?
I'm drawing a blank. I'm not. All I can think of is just remember what Magpul started with. Mm-hmm. A Magpul.
Yeah. Simple.
I can remember, and this goes back. Mm-hmm. I can remember when Magpul was in a 10 by 10 booth. Mm-hmm. They had a Magpul, and I was going.
That's all they had.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. Okay, and then it went from Magpul to this to that to this to that.
If you could go back in a time machine, Walter,
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is, that's sometimes it starts simple like that. You just gotta, and to start simple and to make it work, sometimes you have to be in the right time. If you like Daniel Defense and hand guards and things like that, if you fall into that time frame right, and all the planets line up, then it works. But if you come up with the magpul and nobody wants a magpul because the war's over, so to speak, thing. Then you're going to be magpulling all by yourself in the corner someplace. So, I mean, it's like.
Well, there's a lot of examples in the industry, right, of that. Like, I know some of the folks over at X Products, and they've been good to me. And obviously, there's controversy a couple years ago, but like their product line, $180 drum as a starting price, that would never have a place in the market. I'm convinced they would never be able to have built a brand if not for when they showed up at SHOT Show with a 50-round drum, right? And they did a couple $1 million in orders right there because of the threat of them being outlawed, right? So it is a right time, right place industry. It can be, right?
Yeah.
It definitely can be.
Yeah.
A mag puller that has a place for a flashlight and a knife and a money clip. That's something.
Interesting.
And my guys would dig that. That's a functional where you'd see 17 prototypes made so they could keep them for themselves.
Yeah. Eric Hammond says extra mag holder that can be configured to fit in the waistband or pocket. Okay.
Like that might already be out there.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like the ultimate, like, modern tactical fanny pack is what American Freedom Outdoors is discussing.
The fanny packs are coming back. Fanny packs are.
I've always joked about the tactical fanny pack.
Everything like for that.
I mean, because everyone wants to look like the bad guy in a John Wick movie and call themselves a gray man, right?
Yeah.
But I think the best gray man would be, a fanny pack.
Yeah.
I think.
How about a fanny pack that looks like those? When you have those. There's what is this? It's like you always see it in movies. The explosive thing that they
Claymore.
Yeah, Claymore. A Claymore that looks like a fanny pack that looks like a Claymore.
I mean, I've got a guy that likes to make them in his place in Texas, so
So just guarantees you get arrested when like when they see that, like, oh no, you are under arrest, sir. Yeah. It's something. Let's see.
I like the multi-purpose approach of the. I don't remember what it all was. What money clip, flashlight, knife in a fanny pack.
Yeah,
it's kind of
some kind of Batman-esque tool.
Yeah.
Can we do some kind of Batman-esque tool? Oh, I've got a good idea, but I don't know. You guys might not like this. Something that you can like appendix carry, so it looks like your junk is bigger, but it's for storing. Extra storage.
Maybe you can hang your flashlight down there.
How about that?
Hey, is that your flashlight? Happy to see me. Come on.
Harry's Holster says, how about one product that does one purpose? It does it really well. And is your 6 covered? Says, was XTech at IV 8888 last range day?
I did hit up Brandy. Have not heard back yet. So
you've never been out there?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Brandon was bugging me about coming out. I think it was Brandon.
Yeah.
If it wasn't you, Brandon, I apologize, but I think it was.
If you're interested, I could definitely get you into that. I just hit me up, or I'll make an introduction for you.
Cool. Yeah, I sent her an email, but have not gotten word back yet.
Yeah.
So if you can ping her, that'd be great.
Yeah. Brian Quick says a fanny pack is great to carry your, what is it, hog leg when at the beach in nothing but a bikini. Uncle Mike says a fanny pack that you wear in the front with level 3A armor backing.
All the armor flops down is to cover your junk.
Yeah, and then Uncle Mike says, Hank, that's what the pocket in your tighty whities is for. Oh boy. Hang the Olight tactical orange near your basket. Okay. Yeah, listen. You guys have to come up with something. We'll think about this a little bit more. Obviously, we'll have to think of this. Maybe I'll pull out a snippet or something like that, throw it up on the interwebs, and let everyone comment on it. And then, we'll come up with something. How about, can we make a really good polymer knife that's undetectable? I like that.
So the answer is I think so. When I say really good, the question is how well it holds an edge. And obviously it's not going to be as good as some of the metallurgy technologies out there. But yeah, we've actually been asked by some folks to make a dive knife, and due to weight and non-corrosive properties, at least like a backup dive knife for a certain group of folks. I've actually made some scalpels for the cutting nerves out of your spine before, so we've done it out of all polymer. It's
Scalpels for cutting nerves out of your spine?
Yeah, so not XTech, right? Again, I have another hat. So okay. People that know me and how I make a living, in part, right? The two kind of public personas is, we deal with helping, both sides of it, right? Like tools to work and then tools to fix, right? So, med device is a core market for me. So yeah, we've made a blade out of 100% polymer. And then actually another program I was involved in and still am is for female joggers. There's a blade. It's not overly sharp, but it's enough to screw you up.
Yeah.
Called Go Guarded.
Okay.
You don't really need.
You don't need a lot because just even a pressure tool could do a lot of damage. Yeah.
Poking edge and a little bit of force and get the job.
Yeah, the challenge with that is to make it. I mean, we could design a really cool knife, but to make it, we'd have to do tooling, right? So, and then the polymers we use, you'd have to require some special tooling to handle that high temperature polymer used. So we'd have to go all the way to building a mold for that knife. But it actually is a market we've looked at, and knives are a market we've actually looked at a lot with a totally different take on it. And I would say, in the next 3 years, expect a whole product line, and maybe a little longer, obviously, with what else we're dealing with. But we have already been in works for about 2 years now on conceptualizing and a line of EDC blades, really designed a different take on it. And I think it's on the market today. I think you can get close to it for a lot of money and a lot of homework and some custom stuff, but there's no mass market out there.
Are you saying no to the knife idea? Is that what's happening here?
I am not. I'm saying I'm all about it, actually. Okay. And it's something that I've researched quite a bit.
Oh, okay. So this is a maybe.
The knife thing is something I've wanted to do for 2 years now. A buddy of ours is a former ordnance guy at Team 2, and that's where, he originally pitched me on it, and him and I have been talking for a while on the topic, and so yeah, the knife thing's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
With those guys, is there
you're coming in quiet. You gotta get a little closer to the mic. Sorry. What are you doing with the microphone over there? Oh, he pulled the plug out. The microphone came out. Oh,
any better at all?
It's perfect now.
I literally unplugged and replugged.
Oh, okay.
Is there with the team guys? Is there a market for a blade that is non-magnetic, non-conductive? Is that what they're looking for?
Yeah.
Weight's a big thing, right?
Oh, weight's the thing. Okay.
Weight's a big thing. Yeah, something they can carry as a spare. I mean, as you can imagine, when you're underwater in dark environments, things get lost, things get tangled around things when you tie ropes to them. You plan for everything bad to happen when you're, do that for a living, right? So this would be a backup, would be the initial objective. And if we can make it good enough, then it maybe would become a primary. Yeah. But definitely something we played with. It's just holding an edge is the question, right? And the one problem with that is you can't prove the concept. I mean, obviously we can design something that looks epic, right? Or looks like it will work. But to get one, you have to build a mold, right? A prototype's not going to tell you if you're close or far, right? So, and then build the mold, you have to be something that can use, like I said, a very high temp material that even your hoses have to be exotic, right? Because you're running so hot, if a hose comes loose, steam can actually, destroy someone's life. So there's a lot of capital expenditures into the front of it. Although it's never been crossed off my list. It's just been a little bit on the back burner.
Yeah. It would be interesting for joggers and stuff like that. Like you said, I mean, like when people are out there, they've got usually very tight stuff. They don't want a lot of weight. Just something you could tuck in. Maybe it doesn't cut you or whatever, but if you get into a little tussle up close, you can apply some serious damage to someone else, Yeah,
and something that would kind of, conform to the body better than what's out there, right? Again, I think you can get to a similar solution to what I kind of see as the core of the EDC knives I would want to make. If you're all in, right? If you're spending a couple $100 on a knife, or let's say $80 at a minimum on a knife, and then another 80 on a holster, you could get in the ballpark of what I'm discussing. But what I'm discussing is actually a complete system where it's collectively $50 gets you to the same net equivalent because it's mass produced, right? So I 100% believe in because a folder, to me, to make a good folder, obviously you got a lot more cost, right? Unless you go to China, which I prefer not to. We have one product made in China. Everything else 100% made in the U.S. And our lasers are the only thing made in China. You just have to, right? Or it's $1,000. But I think there is, and to your point, like there's a need to have something where average Joe can walk in and go, hey, for $50, I can get a quality piece of kit that's something I'm actually going to carry every day. Let's look at it that way, right? Or when I need to be discreet. And whether it's all polymer or steel, at that point, I think there's just a lack of stuff out there, unless you're that really educated consumer that has some coin that can go chase down, and trial and error. Because as we know, knives, retention holsters with Kydex and knives, they're hit and miss, right? The Kydex process, based on how it's made,
Did we?
I think we might have lost him.
Yeah, did he just freeze up?
Yep.
JP from Blue Rifle Society, while we're waiting for Jeremy, says, I would like something that clips onto an M1 carbine bayonet lug so I could put a light onto it.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be just
It's very niche, though.
Yeah.
a new rail adapter or something.
Yeah. Let's see. We should be... Okay, he says his computer decided to reboot. We'll wait for him. We've got some time here.
I love when Windows or Mac decides, hey, it's time to update, and you have to sit through this right now.
Yeah, maybe an auto update or something like that going on. Len Holt says, or any bayonet lug. Yeah, I don't know if there would be a big market for that, although it does sound cool. Brian Quick says, how about a good EDC knife with provisions for pepper spray?
Well, that puts it out of half the market.
While we're here waiting, Walter, did you see my Instagram post? I will show it to the screen here. That is a pile of.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
Oh, you took something
apart. Finally, I already talked to you about this, Hank. What do you mean? You sound surprised. I finally got that Marlin 38 completely disassembled. It took me a lot of screwing around because back in the 20s, they like to pin every little thing to the receiver. So I had to soak it in Croil for like 4 days to try to knock out all those tiny little pins out because none of them, of course, wanted to come out. But I did get it done. So it's all in pieces. I found a broken screw that I'm gonna have to buy, and or if I can't buy one, I'll have to try to make one. And then we're gonna start rebluing it. So, what a disaster!
So now you got to pin this whole thing back together. Is that what you're saying? It all has to get pinned.
No, it's everything that's inside the receiver has pins that are like through pins that hold all the pieces together.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna have to figure out where every little damn pin goes with every little piece of that receiver. No, it'll be fun.
Did you take pictures along the way
I took video of the whole thing because I was like, I know I'm gonna need this later on.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's see.
We got Jeremy back.
Oh wait, we got him back. Okay, hold on.
Yep. Guys, I'm on my phone at the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to get my computer back up and going.
All
Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Did it just decide it's time to do an update? Is that what it said?
Yeah, I guess so. Nope. It just randomly was like restarting, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yep. I love that Windows just knows that you're in the middle of something important, and now is the time to restart.
I was inspired by my daughter and was like, I'll download the app on my phone. Otherwise, it'd be like, panic. I know nothing. What do I do?
Yeah.
And so somehow, I'm very proud of myself. If you can't tell for doing the download. But
DCG, there's still ideas coming in, by the way. DCG44 says magazine base plate with a COB type LED light. So you can replace
a light in your base plate?
Yeah, so I guess you can replace that, and then there's a light on there, I guess.
Okay.
But if you take the magazine out, yeah.
At least it's not a fanny pack.
Thank God.
Fanny packs are coming back, man. You'd be surprised. High-end designers bringing in fanny packs. Dolce & Gabbana.
I'm not. When I say it, I'm not saying it. I don't doubt you're saying this, but everything makes the big cycle, especially in fashion. You know, like running pants or jogging pants or all that stuff, all those goofy trends all come back around again.
Oh, okay.
All right.
There you
Now
go.
we're back.
Okay. All right. You got to turn your camera back on too.
It's on.
Camera on. Oh, wait, I don't see his.
Oh, Hank with the software that doesn't like you.
Oh boy. Yeah. Let me. For some reason, it's not showing. Take your camera on and off if you don't mind. Just take your camera off and put it back on if that's possible. And then maybe we will. Oh. Do we?
Oops.
Oh,
Okay.
and he's. Oh, there he's back.
And we got
Right
him.
back.
There we go. See?
Agree.
What? I'm trying to
I
think if
know.
there's anything.
I'm guessing
combined-
somewhere in the background it gave me a warning, but it was just
It
like,
yeah, Windows likes to do that, but hide it and then go, okay, we're turning off now.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we'll keep the ideas flowing in here. We'll keep the ideas flowing in. So what stuff is in the future that we haven't talked about from you guys? I know you did show me the laser. You don't happen to have one there. I was looking. I got too many pictures to scroll through from shot.
Can you explain what that is? I was curious. You mentioned it, but I don't know what you mean by smart laser.
So this is a technology for a company that I've been involved with for years. They started with, so it's a company called Smart Firearms, which is not involved in the marketing, although I'm not a good marketer myself, but most people don't know about it. But Smart Firearms makes the best, hands down, training pistol, in my opinion, in the market. But so anyway, he has a technology where if you enter the trigger guard area, it sends a signal to something and activates something, right? So he has a utility patent there. So we licensed his utility patent and created this product, which is similar to offerings you have from like Viridian and Crimson Trace in the way it can work, which is you push a button and it turns on, turns off. I'm just taking out the package here and installing it real quick. I know we can't show certain things on these videos, but I will get this battery door on and then walk you guys through
I'm
what
guessing
makes it
this
special.
with that licensing technology, you put your finger in and boop.
That's
how
part of it.
That's how it usually happens, Patrick. I thought we had the birds with bees conversation with you.
Oh Lord.
So you can tap either. You've got two power buttons, one on each side, right? So it's a 200 lumen light green laser. My partner's always correcting me. It's like 186 lumen light, and I explained that like everyone else is 180 something that says 200. That's just kind of what it is, lab testing. But if you hold down either power button for 3 seconds for the next 14 hours, these little red lights are going to be on. What this means is if your finger, you can go straight into the trigger guard, right? And this is going to turn on. But if you're searching, and I was holding a firearm here, you could see I can use my offhand thumb to activate it. So this would be into the trigger guard over here, but I only have to come to the edge here. So if I'm searching, it's offhand thumb. If I go into the guard, so you're not disclosing location, it comes on when you want it on. They're independently adjustable. There's 5 different modes between light only, laser only, light laser, And again, you'll see our marketing once we roll into Steam on this one, which it is in the market now. We just haven't really began the full marketing push. Is that it's the ultimate tool for the average nightstand American? Or
why have I never realized that I need that? Like that's the coolest idea ever.
No, it's a lot of. I mean, it's 3 years in the making for us.
I like that you wave your hand over it and it goes off.
Yeah, well, I moved the packaging here behind it, right?
Yeah.
So. So it doesn't judge gloves, right? And I mean this with all respect. It's also not racist like a lot of sensor technologies are, right? So it doesn't care about your skin tone, which actually is a thing, right? When you're developing infrared technology. So this iteration, again, requires a custom Kydex holster. It's a little bit too big for your average TacLite holsters, but it was designed for the average American's nightstand, and just keep waving. Let's keep doing this, right?
Yeah. So that gets rid of the necessity. So like a lot of these kinds of things, you still have to somehow touch it, So
right.
Which is the thing that you're not going to do under pressure necessarily.
Well, what are people going to do, right? If you have our competitors on your pistol, you hear a bump in the night.
That's all I can show. But I have little hands, and sometimes I have trouble getting my fingers to actuate the plastic because my fingers aren't long enough to hit the button on some of these, depending on the firearm and the setup. But yeah, that'd be really just kind of boop, and it's on. It's cool.
Yeah, so those are $180. Like I said, they're selling now. We're going to share more about it. If the technology takes off like we think it will, you'll see a light-only version. We've had a lot of LE agencies come to us and say, hey, make an 800 lumen minimum light. Get rid of the laser. We don't want 10 guys crashing into a building and wondering whose laser's whose. That doesn't work. We've got requests from some military groups for infrared laser only, where only can be seen with night vision. So there's excitement about the technology and around the technology. It's water resistant, not waterproof. It's, we're not going to drop it off a building and tell you it's still going to work. So again, we'd like to market around the standpoint of truth, right? So, and the 14 hours was you push it for 3 seconds. The general concept in the features that I defined we had to hit was training you to do new things in a blue skies environment, right? If that makes sense. Before bad things happen. So get into the habit of, before you go to bed at night, hold it down for 3 seconds. It's there, it's ready. Does everyone need it? Would I tell you everyone needs this product? No. If you're going to go out and train and shoot, whatever ground count in the thousands a year, and your instructor zero that can close your eyes and chop off your night sights and still hit a flagpole at 25 feet, you don't need this. But I think, for me, it's a tool that, knowing it's next to my wife's nightstand when I travel, and gives her more confidence to clear a house, because disclosure of location is a huge thing most Americans will never even think about, right? But if I have a knife and I'm an intruder in your home, and you're walking around with your flashlight on and waving it everywhere and showing me where you are, well, guess what? You just gave the complete advantage to me to ambush you, right? So having the light not come on before you're ready, being able to keep your fingers safe. That's why ambidextrous offhand thumb was critical. So we think it's definitely a new take. We think there's a lot of validity to it, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Opt out of gun control. I'm just going to get some comments in here. Opt out of gun control says, I have concerns about anything that trains you to put your finger in the trigger guard when you may not be ready to shoot.
And I think we've addressed that completely, and Hank's handled the product. He'll handle it more. I 100% agree with you. If you just go straight in, it's going to come on, right? But you don't have to, and Hank can attest to that. You slide that forward thumb, you're from clench, your forward thumb's going to do this. It's not pulling a trigger. So I totally agree with you, and I believe that's been addressed with the iteration, but very valid point. And it was, honestly, that added a year to development cycle for us, data to reliably work. So I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, we'll get one out here. We'll mess around with it, test it, etc. We won't destroy it. Well, we'll see. But
I think Mr. Crump, if he's still hanging out, he has one. He's one of the few that has one.
Yeah, we won't drive it over with a tank or anything like that. Walter.
I mean, you can just say that Jeremy said it would fail, right?
Yeah.
You're only going to be able to do it once.
It's gonna definitely.
You're not disputing my marketing on that one, right?
It's gonna definitely fail on that one. So let's see I don't know if there's any other questions on that. Harry's Holster says a tourniquet that can be carried on the body reasonably easily, but would get TCCC approved. I'm not sure what the TCCCC is.
I'm guessing it's a lab or something. Yeah.
And opt out of gun control says, can he throw it against something? No.
I mean, you can, but I'm not telling you it won't break.
Yeah. I mean, you can
do whatever. If you pay for it, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And it most likely will break.
Yeah. It's not durable. It's just not. We're not telling military groups to go buy this as it sits right now, right? If we did an IR1, it would prove the concept, and then we'd make it a dosed up on steroids version of it.
Yeah. So, and the price point on that is $180, right?
Correct. Yep.
All right. Cool. I don't know if we want to go back. I mean, we've got a bunch of AK guys here. If we want to go back in there, here's something I was thinking when we were talking about the AK stuff. Where do you guys where do you see room for improvement or advancement in the AK space? I'll start with Walter's getting secret packages delivered to him. Oh, a Klondike. Oh. Dark chocolate, no less.
In the AK world.
Yeah, where do you see the AK world going in the future, Walter? That you would think is practical. I know some things you think have totally no use.
That's a tough one. I mean, I guess different stocks. I mean, it's a typical. Even the Russians have tried everything to get away from the regular old AK.
Mm-hmm.
They've tried everything in the world.
Can I just say integrally suppressed?
It's It's not practical on an AK.
Mhm.
Oh.
It's the AK. Okay, one thing AK that Molat did, and that we'll never see here because of our bans we have, is a quick change barrel. Molat did a quick change barrel right before the last ban thing went into effect. Or the last,
Would that really help any of us?
Well, I mean,
I'm not rapid firing enough. Like, I don't have enough money to rapid fire enough.
well,
to
I mean, you know
do a
how
quick
people,
change barrel.
regardless whether you're rapid fire, I want to do 7.62 by 39. I want to do 5.45.
Oh, you just mean interchangeable barrels.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant quick change like on machine guns.
Yeah, no, well, it probably could be used as that because that's been one of the problems when you go into like a squad automatic on an AK, like an RPK, you can't only shoot to a point, and then you burn the barrel up. So,
So interchangeable, you want like a 5.56, 5.45 interchangeable gun that you could just.
I guess.
I mean, it's gonna take more than that, right? Because you might have to do magazine, some kind of.
Well, you would need magazines. You would need, but the bolt carrier is close.
Certain calibers will fit into certain wipers.
Yeah.
For example, if you have a 7.6 or a 3.0, well, anyways, yeah, it gets complicated. But anyways, that's one thing.
Yeah.
I just want rare things.
We've got
That's my problem.
Do we have someone from Japan out there?
I don't know. Why are you asking?
There's someone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we got someone from
How
Japan.
did they find us?
Yeah, I mean, the question I have, I mean, and I don't want to discredit it, right? But the quick change barrel,
Ohio. That's the only Japanese I know. No, that's probably
I
not even
bounced it
Japanese.
off some of the, kings of the AK space, if you will, right? And our godfathers in the U.S., if you want to say that, Fuller, Krebs, and they're all like, well, it's it's not going to work, it's not going to hold headspace, blah blah blah, and I would have loved to understand what Molat did and also get one and put it through thorough testing here in the U.S. But I would love to see, things that were more compatible. And I think the AR stock, right, with the new age, like Walter, you know this, right? As an AK guy, 10 years ago, an AR stock adapter, that was your way to get kicked out of your local AK powwow group, right? now, if your AK's your go gun and you don't have an AR stock adapter, you're almost seen as behind the times. So I think we're seeing this market be more open to innovation.
I thought people were still hating on different kinds of see
triangle
yeah.
side folder is
not an
only
AK
option.
AR stock guy myself, but other stocks are fine, but just that M4 stock on an AK just makes me go like, oh.
You know what? You know what might be.
You don't need the buffer tube. You don't need that. So it's not an efficient. Why are you only going this small when you can fold it, or you can do something else? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you want to bench shoot or I guess get shoot with a cheek rest and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of things an AR stock could do that's not being done yet, or an AK stock. I mean.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you're going to bench shoot, just shoot with a regular stock.
Yeah, I meant prone. I apologize, but
okay.
Yeah. But I agree with you. It's just it's nice to see the market be more open to different ideas. Is my point. Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon Herrera says my rifle is fine.
Triangle side folder. I think he'll agree with me. Triangle side folder.
So that's what I was gonna say. How come we don't see more companies making certain accessories? Like, why is it always difficult to find a triangular side folder? How come we can't get a really tough polymer one?
You can. I mean, and honestly, so when I started XTech, it was a lot of my assumption that was wrong would be how easy it would be to form marquee OEM partnerships on the AR platform, right? I didn't understand the stranglehold that really Magpul had on the major manufacturers, whereas you can't show up with a grip and they go, this is a better grip, and get on their system because, whether or not they can buy direct from a Magpul is dependent on Magpul's mood, right? So they're scared of their prices going up significantly by having to buy them through distribution. And Walter knows those prices compared to OEMs, it's significant. I mean, it can be a 50 to 80% cost increase if you lose that direct buy ability. So they really create all the leverage, which is kind of, it's capitalism, right? I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal or unethical, but it creates a challenge. Whereas for them, right, when they were kind of coming up, right place, right time, it was, we have a magazine, and then OEMs are placing pre-orders for products. Many of their products you saw for the AR were pre-ordered products where they already had their CapEx covered before they came out. So then you go to the AK space, Hank, to answer your question, you know, there's only one player until 2-3 years ago that you could even look at something like that with, right? I mean, there was one person one company that controlled at least 80, and I've heard from other people, even within that organization, 90% of all AKs sold. So you didn't have that partner you could go to and say, hey, if I make this, I'll only make a couple bucks a unit, but if I do, then you're going to help get the word out. I'm going to have a way to get my money back, at least a portion of it, by selling to you, manufacturer. And with the palmettos coming up, and you know, companies like Riley getting more popular, and Klishnikov USA, and in addition to that one company, those opportunities are starting to exist, and those are meetings we're having. You know, those are conversations we're having, and we would love to not just stop at magazines. We'd love to, you know, we have a stock concept that we think is really, really, really cool, that we've been working on, and I'd love to make those.
Okay, a stock. Okay.
Yep,
okay.
an AK stock. Yep.
AK stock. Okay. We'll see.
But you just gotta have a way to get your money back. Is the bottom line. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, we are, you know, on some of these requests, like 5.56 mags, where it's, you know, look, I don't think there's a market to do it now. I mean, 106 is dead. But I mean, I'd love a means to find a way to crowdfund these to the point of at least being able to still captain my own ship, right? That there's two of the original founders left, myself and David, but you know, we have investors and so forth that we have to answer to and show that we're not just, you know, trying to be the people's hero all day long. We have to try and make money, all right, or we can't exist. So I think in the future, though, for XTech, we will find a means to give people a voice, right, more so than we even do now. And hey, if you're willing to show me that I at least have a chance to get half my money back, then, you know, then I'm down to try it, right? So, but I think right now it's just hard because the noisiest segments of the market, it gives you this false impression that they're really big markets. And
ask people
with
about
ITAR, you got a tool in the U.S.
10 millimeter.
10 millimeter.
Exactly.
Everybody wants 10 millimeter. Jason St. Pierre says, how about a forearm based accessory platform? Let me remind everyone that's still watching us, you guys, we've got over 100 people watching us. If you all smash the thumbs ups right now, we can get over 100 because we got like 90, so we don't really need that many, but I appreciate anyone that does. Let me ask this, we do have a little bit of time here. When are we going to get a nice bullpup AK?
Nice bullpup? I don't think isn't that an oxymoron?
Come on.
Well, who was that guy that was working on the 50 cal one or something? Brandon would know.
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon is the guy.
Brandon wasn't doing the bullpup. There was someone else.
Oh.
That everyone's like,
you're talking about that guy his name was like Jason or
something.
Saint Clark. Brandon knows who we're talking about.
It was a bullpup 50 cal?
He had the same name. His name was
something. Yeah, it was something weird, and it didn't take 7.62. It was like 9 millimeter or something weird.
Brandon says bullpup is haram.
He knows.
Brandon knows who I'm talking about. He's the guy.
He knows. He just doesn't know
his name is something like Jason or Saint Clark something.
What was he making? It was a bullpup 50 cal AK.
I don't know.
He was Australian.
Maybe it was 9 mil or something.
No. There was a guy making a big bullpup AK.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
He had like one. There was one.
Yeah.
I kind of know who you're talking about, but the name doesn't.
Brandon's not going to tell us because he doesn't believe in bullpups.
He's just holding out.
Yeah.
Brandon, when are we making a Groza? I want a Groza.
Oh, boy.
Put it out there. Next time he's on chat.
Patrick, you know what I got today?
Boy.
Got 2 side folding receivers.
You let me know how much you need for one of them, and I'm in on the Groza train.
I'm a lefty, and I still wouldn't mind having the Groza thing, you know.
Well. How many of these kits did you get?
I mean, I just bought a couple receivers.
Oh,
no
receivers.
Kits. Yeah, just receivers.
Yeah, they were Centerfire had them on sale. They're I think they came from who? The one that actually
Palmetto, wasn't it?
What's that?
It was a big name.
Yeah, that actually Palmetto bought them out.
No, it wasn't noted.
We've got someone from the Philippines joining us.
That's how Palmetto got into the AK game real quick.
We can't talk about that.
Yeah.
Palmetto doesn't want anybody knowing about what they've been doing.
I've heard both sides, and
Yeah.
there's a, it's like good, as I say, good people get into bad fights when expectations aren't clear.
Yeah. Well, anyways, these receivers came out of that deal, so
Oh, okay.
that Centerfire bought, so.
Okay.
So maybe build a side folder like you saw with a triangle side folder, or maybe a Groza.
More.
Damn it! Now I gotta go buy
Triangle.
one, don't I?
A proper Groza.
Is it possible to make a triangle side folder comfortable?
What are you talking about?
I'm just asking the questions for the people here.
That is the best stock option, and it is super comfortable. Whoever said that, I will slap you down. Who said that?
Okay. We can hang out in AK purist pretend land, or we can be real. But
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't be, right? The problem is your engagement is limited, and then Hank, to the other issue with the AK, right, is you've got, and it is getting more standardized right now, but you can make a product that works on some AKs, which is you're making a product for a niche market. Yeah. And that was our issue with the 5.56 AK mags is even if you made one, it's not going to fit all the 5.56 out there, which is very few. So, it's hard not to limit your market, but I think, I haven't done the full validation, but what I've seen out of Palmetto and so forth, a lot of people are moving to the, Bulgarian / kind of Romanian spec, but Brandon would probably know more about that topic than I would at this point.
4.5 millimeter and 5 millimeter, something like that. The pin diameters, and there's some little variations in the triangle side folders. Yeah.
Shout out to everyone out there. I see we've got someone from the Philippines joining us. We had someone earlier from Japan. Smash the thumbs ups, please. We appreciate all of that. We should probably start wrapping it up. We're over the 9 o'clock hour here.
Yeah, that went by really fast.
Yeah, we definitely have to get Jeremy from XTech back on here again so we can get into this. And of course, you're invited to come down here and shoot some guns with us. I'm going to come out your way as well at some point here. So let's see. How should we do this? Let's have Jeremy tell the folks out there if they want to communicate with you, ask you more questions, follow up, follow the company, where do they do it? What's your social media, etc. that folks can follow?
So Instagram at XTech Tactical, XTech Tactical on Facebook. And then if you're in the AK groups, I'm personally fairly active in it. So if you don't see any recent posts, if you just search XTech in like AK-47 and AK-47 group and a lot of the others, you'll find me personally. And always down to answer questions. And, I do my best, right, to keep up with everything. It is kind of a lot. But yeah, if I don't respond back to you on the personal account, just, follow up, ping me again a couple days later. I'll definitely get back to you. We started this company for you guys, so we will not ignore you. Unless you just keep saying 5.56 mag 47 times in a row after I answer you.
Yeah.
What is your personal go-to AK right now? What do you like shooting?
I like to keep mixing it up because I don't want to. Brandon will laugh. We had this conversation, right? I'm growing into being an AK guy, and that doesn't mean I don't shoot a ton of AKs, but I'm always switching it up. I've had a couple good builds from small builders here in Arizona that I've really enjoyed. Brandon's whipping me something up shortly in the near future. I've got a PSA AK coming and a Riley AK coming that I should have in the next couple weeks. So, people ask me all the time, what options do I have? And I'm not going to recommend something until I shoot it myself and have my team shoot it.
Yeah.
To answer your question, the one I'm having the most fun with right now is probably a Polish build that someone did as a gesture of appreciation. We kind of help as many small companies as we can as our booth at SHOT. As Hank saw, we have a wall of AKs from a lot of different builders, from Power Dynamics to Krebs to a lot of smaller guys too, that we try and support in our little 10x10 booth. And so Imperial Arms built me a pretty cool little AK. It was my birth year, and it was just a really cool gesture. So some real person behind it, so I dig it.
Yeah,
That's really
awesome.
cool.
And don't let Brandon convince you to put a tattoo on your batucas.
I think Brandon knows me well enough. I'm not the, I may seem like a crazy guy, but I'm not the impromptu. Everything I do is pretty well thought out. Yeah.
Walter, this is a real thing. This is a real thing. If people tattoo their butts with Brandon's logo, they get guns. So,
I was there. If you didn't know, I was also the one that texted Brandon sometime around 1 to 3 a.m. this local time and coordinated the Kit Cope fight. So that was
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that.
No.
But Brandon
No.
got choked out at Flash Bash. He made a video.
Oh.
By a
I didn't see
Okay, I'm gonna have
world champion, multiple-time world champion kickboxer against Brandon.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to look into that. By the way, shout out to John Voorhees. He wanted to shout out. Walter, how can the folks out there keep up with you, follow you in your adventure making mini bikes instead of guns? How can they?
I don't have to be here.
I appreciate you being here. I'm just teasing
Walter,
you.
when I come
just
down,
teasing
we're going
you.
to spend a whole day on mini bikes, and I will smile the whole time. We'll shoot AKs off mini bikes. How about that? And make a video.
Yeah, there you go. No, I'm just teasing you, Walter. So how can the people follow you and keep up with your adventures? Because I know you're not going to probably be here for the rest of the week.
Nope. I'm going to be over the weekend here. I'll be at the military vehicle rally in Mount Dora at Renninger's Flea Market. The Florida club's having their rally. There's going to be lots of tanks actually, and there's going to be some helicopters there doing rides, plus a bunch of different vehicles and stuff like that. So, anyways, you can follow us.
I'm sorry, Walter. What days and what times for the military?
That starts on Friday. I believe that Friday is the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. But Friday and Saturday are the two main days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's starts in the morning, runs all day. There'll be reenactors. They've been digging trenches and bunkers and for the reenactors, and there's going to be tanks and more Germans than they normally have, because usually the Germans are outnumbered. The poor Germans, they get slaughtered every time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to be the Germans.
The Germans always get all killed. But but anyways, on Facebook, Instagram, Safety Hour Firearms, you can YouTube Safety Hour Firearms. Like I said, there's Dirtfoot Racing now on Safety Hour on YouTube and Instagram. I've been posting mostly on Instagram lately here, but there's Sten parts. If you want to buy some Sten parts, you can go to Safety Hour Firearms website .com kind of thing. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, very cool. And last but not least, Babyface P. How can the folks keep up with you? What projects do you have coming up on the YouTubes here?
Colt went live yesterday. I think next week I'm going to show you how to take down and rebuild a Hudson H9 into the aluminum frame, and then after that maybe the Glock 44. Lots of stuff going on.
We were shooting the aluminum frame gun over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
No, that wasn't bad at all.
No.
Yeah. Remember? Yeah, we were shooting that. That was it's a cool gun. All right.
Can you play taps as you mentioned the word Hudson? Is that a thing?
Oh, let's see. I don't have taps in my. I don't have taps in my little sound effects thing out there. Unfortunately, not. Yeah. All right. So listen, we will follow back up with Jeremy from XTech, of course, and thanks to everyone for joining us, Walter. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on at the shop. Thanks for coming in, Babyface P as well, doing double duty here. It's great having you on, Jeremy. I hope you had a good time.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. We'll definitely get you back in here again. You obviously have no issues getting down, man, and talking about anything. Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that. Some insight to what's going on out there. All right, I'm going to drop the end right now real quick for everyone. Make sure you guys go to hankstrange.com. That's where you'll find all our deals. Lola's deals has that, daily deals, etc. You'll find how to support us and all the different things you could do to follow us, etc. hankstrange.com, that's the place to do it. Thanks so much to everyone. Thanks to Harry's Holsters for having our back. I think if you use the code, Hank Strange gets you 10% off at Harry's Holsters. And we are out of here. I will see you tomorrow. Any final words from anyone? What final words? Nothing to say? Bullpup AKs for everybody.
545 is best caliber.
Integrally suppressed 545 Bullpup AKs. We're out.
It was nice meeting y'all. See you guys.
Peace.